Hello and welcome to Momocuri, the creative project where you'll learn everything you need to know to create your very own RPG role-playing video game. My name's Miss Laura, and with me you'll be learning how to create the story for your game, and I'm going to begin by telling you the beginning of the story I'll be working with. Long ago, in old Japan, between a high mountain and a fast-running river, there was a grassy plain, a desolate plain called Adachigahara. It was a place where nobody goes, because legend said it was haunted by a demon who lived at the edge of the plain and after dark lured unwary travellers to her door. And those who went in never came out. Once upon a time, in a far distant part of Japan, there lived a young, enthusiastic monk named Yukeh. He was in training in a temple with an order of monks who were famous throughout the land for their power to heal the sick and their power to fight and defeat evil spirits. More than anything in the world, Yukeh wanted to have those powers as well. And every night he prayed that he would get those powers, but every morning he woke up without the powers. One day he went to the abbot, the chief monk, and said, "Please help me. All I want to do is be like you and the other brothers. I want the powers to heal the sick. I want the powers to fight evil spirits. What can I do?" "Well, there's only one thing you can do," said the abbot. "You must go on a long and dangerous journey, north, far north to the province of Michinoku, to the plain of Adachigahara. There you will find the medicinal herbs that we use to heal the sick, and you might find something else you're looking for too." "Oh, thank you," said Yukeh. And he was so excited he couldn't sleep that night, and before dawn the next morning he packed a bag and off he went on the road. He travelled as far and as fast as he could, only stopping to eat and to sleep. But along the way, everyone he stayed with warned him, "Oh, you shouldn't go to Adachigahara. It's dangerous. Don't go there after dark. And whatever you do, do not knock on strange doors after dark." Yukeh listened, but he didn't stop. He didn't stop until he reached the plain of Adachigahara, between that mountain and that fast-running river. And there were the herbs he needed. He was so excited he started picking immediately. He picked left and right, this way and that way. And he was so into what he was doing that he didn't notice that the sun was going from its zenith at the top of the sky down to the western horizon. And he didn't notice until it set. And he was alone on the plain in the dark. What shall I do? He looked around. Nothing. It was cold. He didn't like the cold, and the rain was starting to fall in fat droplets from the sky. He didn't like the rain. He looked around for something, anything, and oh, there in the distance, a light was flickering. Nearer and nearer he went, and he realised that the light was coming from a house, the window of a house. And he was just about to knock on the door of the house when he remembered the warnings that he received from all the people along the road. Do not knock on strange doors after dark. If you go in, you may never come out. So he stood there, not knowing what to do. He looked back at the storm and the rain and the dark and the plain. And he looked forward at the flickering light from that window. It looked warm. And he made his decision. He raised his hand, and Yukeh knocked. All stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And this video is all about the beginning of a story, just like the beginning I just told you. But now I've told you my story. It's your turn. We're going to create the beginning of a story together, your very own story. We better get started. So Here we are at the beginning of the story. You're going to be using your imagination and coming up with some ideas, so grab yourself a notebook and let's begin. So what do you need for a beginning? Well, you need these 4 things. You need a place, a person, a problem, and because it's a game, you also need a procedure. Now, what do those even mean? Well, let's go through them one by one and find out. The beginning of a story needs a place, needs somewhere to happen. And you can create a great place for your story by answering these 3 questions. You're going to ask yourself, where does it happen? My story happens in ancient Japan, but yours might happen somewhere else. Second, you ask yourself, when does it happen? Mine, long ago, but yours could happen in the future, could happen right now, or in a particular historical period. It's up to you. And number 3, you ask yourself, what could you find in that place? In my story, there were mountains, there were temples, there was possibly a demon or 2. I wonder what's in your story. It's time to get that imagination in gear, because now it's over to you. Your first task is to create a place for your story by answering these 3 questions. Where is it? When is it? And what might you find there? Pause the video and come back when you've thought of a good place. Well done and welcome back. Now we've got somewhere for our story to happen. Now we need someone for our story to happen too, don't we? The next thing we need is to create a great main character, hero. So let's get started on that. So, your person, also known as your hero, your main character, or if you want to be really posh, your protagonist. You create a great person for your story by answering these 3 questions. First, what type or species are they? They don't have to be a person, do they? My main character, of course, he's a boy. He's a trainee monk. Second, what kind of personality does your main character have? What do they like? What do they hate? My main character, he's quite enthusiastic and he's a little bit scared of the dark. How about yours? The third question you should ask, possibly, is why don't you give them a name? My hero's name is Yukeh. I wonder what yours is. And there are so many other questions you can ask too. The list is endless. And the more questions you ask and answer about a character, the better they are. Create yourself a person, a main character, by answering at least 3 questions. What type or species are they? What's their personality? And what do they look like? Perhaps, what is their name? Pause the video and come back when you're done. Brilliant work, welcome back. So now we've got somewhere for our story to happen, someone for it to happen to. The next thing we need to create is possibly the most important thing of all, and that is a problem. A problem means it's the thing that gets the story going. So let's have a look at that. So, a problem starts the journey of the story. And the way you think of a great problem is by asking these 2 questions. First, what does your hero want? My hero, he wants the powers to heal the sick and to fight evil. Second, where can your hero find that thing? Yukeh can only find it far away on a haunted plain, where he has to journey for a long time to get to. But perhaps the journey that you've got in mind could be even further, up into space or under the sea. Perhaps it could be a shorter journey, but feel like a long one. But the thing that gets the story going, the problem. Now it's over to you to think of a great problem, something that your main character wants and where they can find it. Pause the video and come back when you've thought of a great problem to get your story going. Well done and welcome back. So now we've got a place for our story to happen in, a person for it to happen to, a problem to get it all going. But we're still missing something, aren't we? We're missing the thing that will turn our story into a game, and that is a procedure, also known as a game mechanic, or otherwise known as what the player can actually do. In level 1 of your game, collecting items is going to be the mechanic that you'll be working with first. What must your hero collect? Yukeh is collecting healing herbs and perhaps some other things. What items could your hero collect to get what they want? And that's the final task of this video. Pause the video, come back when you're done. So now we've got everything we need to embark on the coding of level 1 of our video game. You've got a story, you've got a place, a person, a problem and a procedure to take with you along the road into level 2. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you'll join me in the next video where we'll talk about the middle of the story, level 2 of the game. But until then, from me, Miss Laura, thank you and goodbye.